Hello, everybody. Welcome to Tarot and the Star pre-Halloween stories. So, we are going to talk about the Amityville horror house. In 1974, November, a young Ronald Defao shot each member of his family, his mom, his dad, his two brothers, and his two sisters as they slept. Now, his reasoning back then was that he heard voices and those voices told him to do that, and he also claimed that his sister was a part of this, and he had said two different stories. First, he said he had done it because the voices told him to. And then he had said that the sister had killed everybody, and then he was upset about that, and then he killed the sister. Now, he went to prison for that, and I believe he died in prison. So let's see if we can find out from the spirit guides what occurred in that November of 1974. Spirit guides, please show us the home Amityville, and please show us what occurred in November of 1974 with the Amityville, the family that lived there. Can you show us if Ronald Defao was the mastermind behind these murders, or if it was paranormal? Okay. Interesting. Let me get the cards all out, and then I'm going to go through this story with you guys. Okay. This is painting as a story that has something to do with the supernatural here. Please show us any last messages here, spirit guides, regarding this Amityville horror house. So we can have an understanding of what occurred in November to this family that was murdered in this house. Okay. Okay, so let me go through this story with you guys. So Ronald Defao the young son, started having nightmares in this home. He was waking up in the middle of the night and having really demonic dreams. That's how I could put it. Because what I see, image here in my mind, is a young man that's waking up in night sweats, and he is dreaming of some, like an entity, like a demon that is killing in the home. So he is having nightmares in this house. It is causing him to feel paranoia. Okay, what else? He knew that something was wrong. That something was wrong with that house. He was having this feeling that there was other entities that lived there, spirits, and they were demonic, and he was having this sense like that he needed to kind of get out of there. But he ignored his intuition. He was ignoring the intuition because he thought, maybe I'm just losing my mind because I haven't slept very well. And he kept getting strong vibes, you know, basically telling him to leave the house. He wasn't seeing anything yet, okay? Mind you, he was having just nightmares, and these were very horrific nightmares. And he was getting this feeling, a strong gut feeling, I got to get out of this house. This is no good. Something's amiss. Something's up here. So this entity, he kept having these nightmares, and the nightmares were being caused by an entity that was in the home that was very evil. This entity was corrupting his mind. It was putting these dark thoughts in his mind. It's like he was picking up on these dark thoughts in his dreams, in his nightmares. So then he becomes more distant and cold from his family. He wants to be left alone a lot, I'm seeing. He wants to be in his room. Very blank expression. Not wanting to socialize with anybody in the family. He started to become cold towards everybody. He started to think of dark thoughts on offing everyone. This place is cursed, okay? So the Amityville home is a cursed house at that time, okay? At that time in 1974. Now, I don't know if it is now. They could have had somebody bless the house. But it was cursed at that time, okay? And so I'm getting like, weirdly enough, I'm getting like a portal of some type where there's like a few entities that reside in that place, and they are demonic. A few are demonic, and some are ones that died there under mysterious circumstances is what I'm hearing. Okay. He knew that this was destined to be. He was given a plan by this entity in his mind, like he was hearing a voice, okay? And so that part is true, I guess. He was hearing a voice because he would lack of sleep, and it turned him into paranoia, and then he started to hear a voice. But this was an entity that was trying to overpower him mentally, because Ronald, I'm getting, was not a strong individual in his mind. He was, he had like a low self-esteem is what I'm getting. And so he knew that this was going to happen. It was destined to happen, that he was supposed to commit this act, this heinous act of killing everybody. Okay. So here's what's weird about this reading. I'm getting that there's a few entities from this family that are ghosts, and they reside in the home. And one is Ronald, so he must be passed away. They reside in the home, and they can't quite understand what is happening in our world today. It's like if you wake up in your house, and all of a sudden there's different furniture and different people there, and you're just confused as to what the heck is going on here, right? Because your mind is still living in the past, right? So these people, somehow they're stuck in that house, not knowing that they passed away. It's like an endless loop for them. They're walking around and they're seeing these strange things going on, people, furniture. And so there is hope here. So what I'm getting here is that somebody blessed this house after this thing occurred. They had like a priest or something come in, and then they blessed the home to rid it of the evil energies that were in the home. And it did do a lot. It calmed down noises I'm getting. It calmed down like steps of apparitions. But there is a faint ghosts that are still residing there, which is a few family members from the Defao family. Then you have... yeah, see, he was lured. It's kind of like he was enchanted by this entity, this evil force, to do these deeds. Okay? And weirdly enough, before any of this happened, and he was having the nightmares, and he was getting the thoughts to do and commit this crime from this evil entity. This evil entity was presenting itself to only Ronald Defao, and it was shape-shifting. It shows here the card of shape-shifting, but it's showing me like it's materializing as a plasma. It's materializing as a ghostly apparition. So he saw this thing. Then you have here that he was overthinking. I don't know if I should kill my family or not. I shouldn't listen to you. I don't know if I want to do this thing. You know, it doesn't feel right to me. I don't know. And so he was in self-imposed prison in his mind. It's like the evil entity kept telling him, you need to commit it. You need to do this. And it would not let him rest. He's having these nightmares. He's in a paranoia state, and it keeps on keeping on him. And then he finally snaps. Okay. So let's get to more of the story. Spirit guides that have seen this crime with Ronald Defao, with his family, back in 1974 in Amityville house. Can you please show us more information here, more clarity on this crime? Okay. I need to clean up what I've done. Okay, I shot everyone. I shot the kids because they cannot be without parents. Okay. I know I've committed homicide. It was inside the house. This entity kept telling me to do it. I also felt a angered feeling with my father. My father wasn't the best of person. He always made me feel so small. I felt that I had no self-esteem because of my father. And so I became jealous of how he was with the other family because he didn't treat them the same way he treated me. I know justice was served on me, and I agree with that justice because I committed this crime. An evil entity told me to do this thing. I went down that road and I could not return from it. I could not undo what I had just done. And they made legal proceedings against me. I went to prison. I lied to try to get out of prison. I was mind controlled by this evil entity. I tried to cover it up by saying my sister had something to do with this crime, but she actually never had anything to do with this crime. I did have a perversion for my sister. I started having thoughts of doing things with my sister, which was unwholesome. Anything else? Ronald Defao, anything else that you want to mention here? I still love my family. Family. Okay, hold on, you guys. Let me get this other deck here. I'm a ghost now. I reside in the home. I'm a ghost now. The home is still haunted. Evil still lurks there, and it is waiting for its next victim. It's just hiding in the shadows. This evil can take many years in between cycles to strike. So I'm getting, like, for example, with Ronald Defao, he was controlled by this entity. This entity can stay dormant in the house as a demon for 50, 100 years and then strike again with somebody else. Okay. I acted as though everything was okay. My family questioned me why I was being so distant. why I didn't join in, and I acted as though everything was fine and I was just going through things. But in reality, I was being controlled by the demon. Okay, Ronald, let me ask you a question, Ronald, since it sounds like you're the one that's coming through here. Are you sorry about what you had done to the family now? I mean, now you should have the wisdom to know that this thing was controlling you to commit this heinous act. Do you feel guilt about what was done in that house, how you had shot everybody while they were asleep? Do you feel guilt about that now? I feel displaced. I'm not too certain what I exactly feel. I feel that I'm in between. I'm a ghost. I haunt the house. I do sense sometimes some grief for the crimes I committed. I do have some grief. This house has a lot of illusion to it. And I was fooled into believing this entity. And now I'm there in the home, and I still see that entity. It does not have control over me now. It tries to trick me still as a ghost. But I stay in isolation in the house. I stay to myself. I hide in a sacred place in the home. Ronald, why are you haunting the house? I mean, why go back there? Why not just try to go to the other side? There is light, and you can walk into that light, and the spirits will cleanse you from the thoughts, the evil thoughts that you had. You don't have to be stuck staying at that home. I stayed because there's other ghosts there. These are my family members. Okay, so I am resistant to leave them behind. I still have my memories. Okay, you guys, I'm going to leave it at that. This was the the Amityville Horror ghost reading on Ronald Defao to see what happens there. We are going to ring this bell and clear the energy. We are saying goodbye to you, Ronald Defao, and goodbye to any spirit guides that came through to speak with us in regards to what happened in Amityville House in 1974 with the family Defao. Thank you so much, and we are ending the session with you all. Goodbye now. Now, thank you so much for you guys joining me with Tarot and the Star. Very creepy reading, because he was controlled by an entity. He had thoughts about doing things to his sister, because somewhere in the story they were saying that he was having some kind of thing going on with the sister, and the sister committed You know, he had said that the sister committed this crime later on. That wasn't true. He had thoughts of doing things with his sister because of this entity controlling him. It was showing him the deepest, darkest side of him. You know, entities control when you are very weak in the mind. When you have low self-esteem, that is when an entity, that's the best timing for deep, dark entities to try to manipulate or control people. In this situation, he had low self-esteem because of his father. He felt like he was treating indifferent versus the other kids. And I actually do see that. I see that the father is yelling at him and the father is telling him he's good for nothing and stuff like that. But on the flip side of that, the father also provided him money to go out and do stuff, was going to help him with school. I'm seeing the other flip side of that. Yes, the guy was yelling, and yes, the guy was domineering and telling him all these things. But on the other side, he was also gifting him and trying to make sure he has a good life. So it's kind of a weird thing here. But all Ronald Defao was seeing was that the father was this way. He wasn't seeing all the good things that the father had done too. I also get that he was smoking marijuana. And, you know, he was just at a very low stage of his life when this thing came and took over. And it was controlling his dreams. And then, you know, it went full force and it wouldn't leave him alone until he committed these crimes. But he does agree that he needed to get that prison time because he didn't quite know what was wrong with him. So now he stays with his family members. I see that there is number three of them in the home. They're hiding. They hide from the current owners. Current owners may not even know about them. It's very faint energy. Very faint. It's not like I'm getting like hidden in the shadows. And, you know, they it's like they're not trying to start a rift with people that are living there, is what I'm getting. But they don't want to leave their home. His family, the ones that are gone and deceased, the ones that are residing there still, do not know that they had passed away. Ronald Defao knows. But in the spiritual realm for him, he may see the family members, but he cannot like have like a conversation like I'm having with you guys. He sees them, but it's like through a lens. So he stays in hopes that maybe one day he's able to communicate his apology to them. You know, it's like seeing somebody in the distance and you're trying to reach them and you're trying to say, hey, turn around and look at me, and they cannot hear you. That's the relationship that's going on here. It's like he's one ghost he sees the other ghosts walking through. They see each other. They all know that it's like they died and they all were in the house when that thing occurred, and they all see each other, but they don't see Ronald Defao in the same way. It's like he's not able to have that kind of communication for some reason. It could be that he is blocking himself from the communication. You know, he might be creating a hell in his own mind as a spirit, you know. Anyways, I'm going to leave this reading. Thank you so much for joining me with Tarot and Star. If you're not subscribed, do subscribe. And if you liked this story, click on the like button. This is part of your Halloween stories, you guys. So definitely tune in as I keep doing these stories up until Halloween. All right. Thank you so much, and I appreciate every single one of you. Bye now.